Hi again. I'm making another video. Actually, it's Saturday, August 25, and it's about the nature in the urban. And I'm actually walking into this place right now. I don't know if you can see the background. It's like a park. Just trying to do this myself. I need to get some funding so I could get like a camera person. Maybe I think I would get like, you know, maybe like three-dimensional stuff. I don't know, like people that can actually film around me. But just walking, and this is some of the stuff that we actually have in urban Toronto, or I should say urban Ontario. First of all, I am very, very critical of anything related to urban, because what urban is just it was actually a construct that was actually sort of imagined by white males who said, okay, you know what, we're just going to sort of develop these areas and we're going to put in these imaginary concepts. And you know, when I was learning a bit about how they sort of design areas and stuff, I was like, why don't you actually talk to people and talk to nature? And like I even went to different meetings where they have like these people who come in and they say, hey, and I find that there's a lot of Caucasians, there's a lot of Italian, and there's a lot of Asians, and I never see black, never. And the meetings that I've been to, where they're actually asking very pointed questions about the benefits of this to sort of transition people's quality of life out of poverty. If you're actually bringing a concept into a community, why would you even think that the expenses of that concept should be downloaded on the marginal community to begin with? So they bring in these ideas, and then what it happens is the people who actually have to pay for that are people that actually should be sort of focusing on improving their quality of life. So, I really love nature, and I don't know why they have this little bird box here, but, even us, I don't know if you can see that, and I'm wearing shorts, and the grass is kind of high, so I don't want to go too close because I'm not sure if there's something actually in the grass that could create some kind of reaction to my skin. But you see the little bird cage there. I'm just kind of like little birdhouse. I'm like, what are they doing to the bird there? Are they luring the birds in there to do some kind of experiment? And actually, if you look over here, you'll see there's all these different bird boxes. So look at this, there's a whole bunch. So it's like, what kind of things are they doing? Right? Who's doing this experimenting? And when you read texts like medical apartheid, fuck. Oh, here's a whole bunch right here too. Look at this. These bird boxes. There's nothing here to say, this is what we're doing. You just sort of put your shit wherever, and you lure nature into these places. And nobody knows what they're doing, except for whoever set this shit up. And, this is one thing I've come to learn in Canada, is that the Aboriginal community has been so disgustingly marginalized, it's not even funny. And if you ever hear some of how these black people in fucking Toronto, Ontario talk about the Aboriginal community, I just fucking look at them and I'm like, you know what? What the fuck do you really know about Canadian history? As a matter of fact, if you actually learned about how the Aboriginal was actually marginalized, then you know what? Maybe you would see something different with yourself. And I don't know, I just find that it's really wonderful to be in and amongst nature, because nature is my place for grounding. It's my place for serenity. And when I think about, for example, conceptualizations of my life and my family, we have to be able to go on regular nature walks. We have to be able to for example, speak with our children and, enrich the gifts in our children. And, I was just looking at this thing here and I was like, wow. I don't have my glasses on, but I was like, oh, is that a little bear? But, I just keep on walking and minding my own business, and they won't do anything to me. So, when you're one with nature, you're okay. I don't follow these European methods of sort of telling us how we're supposed to live with nature. I mean, look at their history. Like, fuck. That's such a fucked up thing. But like somebody said to me today, they said, within the black community, there's also blacks that are very, very violent, and violent in the way that their their thinking is very colonized, and so they're no better than actually, you know, the white man that some of these other ones say, oh, blame the white man for everything. No, you don't blame white people for everything, because you even have, like, for example, Pakistani that fucking hate black. You have, even I was talking to someone from the Philippines. She said even within her community, you have some of her own kind that hate her. And so I'm just like, wow, you know? And quite frankly, I think people should just speak for themselves. Like, I'm not interested in sort of learning about other people's cultures in the way to sort of say, okay, I become a spokesperson for these other cultures. I find that very disrespectful, and I wouldn't even write about other cultures. So to me, it's just not spiritually aligned. But again, here's more of these, like, bird boxes. You know, look at them. There's a whole bunch. And I'm just wondering, what exactly are these? Like, there's a whole bunch. You know? I've never really noticed this before. You know? So what they're doing is they're doing some kind of testing around here. And, you know, that's interesting. So where would I get information about this? It's funny because I should be able to call my counselor and say, hey, I was walking along this park and I noticed that there was all these bird box things, and I just wanted to know where I could get some more information about it. But that counselor, her name is Frances Nunziata. She's okay sometimes, but she's very she takes care of her own, and she's never created a fence with me. But for example, she's very connected to this bitch called Laura Albanese, who was actually elected as a provincial representative. And actually, I'm thinking about a couple things. I might go after Laura Albanese's job and say, you know what, fuck all of them. You know, get into their position, and then what you do is you actually review everything that they did, and you know what? Have them put in jail for all of this shit that they're creating to our communities. Because I also happen to speak up as well, and like I came from sort of a background where your emotional was always attacked, and you were put down, and on one hand, you were sort of paraded, hey, this is my little child or whatever. Then on the other hand, you had this shit kicked out of you. So I've since removed myself from that sort of experience, and it's like I have to step up things a little bit just to sort of make it very clear to individuals that they were never welcomed in my life, and they never will be. And people like this, like, for example, always do what you want to do, and don't let people get in the way of things that you want to do for yourself. Like, for example, I'm like, you know what, I'd like to go after the bitch's job, and maybe have a fun campaign or whatever. Like, I wouldn't even use signs or anything, because that's just, I'm not even gonna follow their fucking what do you call it, status quo. I'm not gonna follow that stuff. But let them do it their way, and I'll do it my way, and we'll see what the results are. But go after their job, just apply. I'm unemployed, have a university background, I look at issues in this way, and I was just questioning the gap, and I've done an analysis for these communities for, I mean, at least the last 100 years. I shouldn't say the last 100 years, but at least 50 years. And there's no change whatsoever. You see more of the black community, for example, losing their children, black families being split. You have unemployment that's increasing within the black community. So something is wrong here. So my thing is just to say, you know what they're doing is not working. So that's what I would do, is something like that. And you know what? Just not be afraid to actually run for their jobs and stuff. So anyways, that's nature in the urban, I guess. I'm just on my way back to my spot. And yeah, hope you like this little talk about nature. These boxes that they have, these bird boxes, I noticed that the wood was very, it looked like the wood was worn out, so I don't know how long they've had those boxes for, but in medical apartheid, for example, they lured a lot of black slaves into conditions where they would actually experiment on their bodies. And when a person doesn't know something, how do you actually say that that's informed consent, right? It just amazes me to, for example, see all the ethical infractions. I'm like, fuck, man. There's no fucking way. I just don't feel right with something, so, I'm just gonna, just going my way and, listen to what people have to say, and, just do my best. And, somebody will see something and say, you know what, I want to talk to that girl, I want to fucking talk to that girl, and I want to work with fucking her, and I would love that. So, but, I'm not an opportunist, right? But, like I said in my other video, environmental work is just awesome. And, but why does the paid employment in environmental work just comprise of Caucasians? And, I'd like to actually teach environmental stuff in the university, but it should be from a perspective where you see oh my god, there's actually people of nature teaching this, right? So, people in the academy and stuff, you have to check that stuff as well and say, okay, you know what? We can't sort of focus on these ideas around, well, because they're cutting back. Well, you go to fucking university, right? And what you do is use your faculty and say, okay, however, in university and in all these other discourses, there's so many different models. So it's not that we don't have the backing, it's that this particular model is not working. And so why aren't people activating their faculties to even, reason and rationalize like that, right? So, anyways, I am going to walk up this hill and get myself back in shape. And when I say in shape, I just need to get back on the track again. I wish I could actually do some filming on the track so that you could see some of my workouts and stuff. But I guess it'll come in time. Maybe I can get a team or something, and I guess I'll have to get some things set up where people can actually film me, because I want to show you some of these things, these tips. People come to me all the time, say, how the fuck do you do this or that or whatever, you look whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I do, and fucking run with it. But just remember to cite your sources, right? So, anyways, thanks for watching this one, and you know what, I've got all kinds of stuff up there, so, my channel here is really an educational discussion channel, and Black Education Television is where it's at. Thanks.